Hello and welcome to all participants to our Research in Germany monthly research talk for the month of February. Our topic today is the DAAD Prime Fellowship, and I would like to invite my colleague Britt Schenkel, who's also from the DAAD, to turn on her camera. Just a word about me. My name is Anne Knab. I'm from the German Academic Exchange Service and for the Research in Germany initiative. And my colleague Britt Schenkel, welcome to you as well, and thanks for holding the presentation today. Works for the DAAD also. There she is responsible for the DAAD Prime program, and she will give you some more information about the program in a few minutes. So thanks for being with us today. And before we start with the presentation and the Q&A session that will follow after this, we would like to get you also a little bit better, like to get to know you a little bit better. And for this, we prepared this little poll here. We prepared this poll, and it would been helpful if you could shortly participated in it because the program we will present today is directed to postdocs mainly. So it's especially relevant for you if you are a postdoc or if you're planning to prepare a postdoc activity. If you're currently a master, like I see, there are 4 people or 50% of the participants that participated in this poll right now are currently or already have their master's degree and are currently in their PhD. So for you, it's possible that it's not yet relevant, the program, as I said, it's directed to postdocs. We will today especially answer questions about this program and no general questions about the German research landscape and research options in Germany. So just that everybody's informed about the content of today's online talk. We also have online talks for those of you who perhaps are not yet interested in postdocs positions. So for you, we have also webinars, and my colleague Julia will post links to them, to those webinars. So if you don't get the information today that's relevant for you, you will definitely find other places to get this information. We have recordings of those webinars and Q&A sessions, but also we'll have big series coming up in June, and we are looking forward to welcoming you there too. So just some further remarks. First of all, there will be a presentation by Britt Schenkel, which will be about 10 minutes. And after that, you can ask questions about the program, from application process to application requirements, but also about what happens for the case that you receive the scholarship. What does it? What will happen when you have a scholarship if you are lucky to receive it? So you can ask all your questions about this program, and we will be happy to answer them. And please be so kind to ask your questions in the chat. And if you have other questions or remarks, if you can't hear us or don't hear us very good, you can also post this in the chat. So we will have an eye on this and communicate via chat. So I think that was all important aspects of now. And with these words, I'm going to hand over to Britt Schenkel, who will hold her presentation now. So go ahead, Britt, and thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and welcome to Prime. Prime is a program, as Anna already mentioned, that is aimed at future academics for Germany, really. We look for people who want to have a career as professors, and we're looking for people who want to be professors in Germany. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, and we understand life happens, and we do have some alumni who wound up teaching in the United States or in other European countries, or possibly even in countries outside of Europe. But again, that's what our selection committee is also looking for when you're stating your aims. So what is PRIME? PRIME is a program. It's not a classic DAAD scholarship program. And usually DAAD funds people in one direction. So that means if you're here in Germany, it funds you to go outside of Germany. And if you're coming in from another country, it funds you to come to Germany and study here, get your PhD here, or do research here. Now, PRIME is actually both. And it's, as I said, it's not a stipend, it's based on employment here at a German university. And DAAD facilitates everything, but you're not going to be a scholarship holder, you're going to be an employee at a German university. The whole funding period is 18 months, and for 6 months you're going to be in Germany, and for the rest of the time you're going to be outside of Germany. Who's eligible? As Anna already mentioned, it's postdocs. We also tend to have some applications from people who are just working on their PhDs, but by the time our funding starts, you must have finished your PhD. All nationalities are eligible. So yes, we always have applicants from pretty much all continents in our program. Brazil is a big country in the last few years. We have people applying from India, from Iran, from several countries in Africa, from North America as well. Now, it's for all subject areas, and very often at the postdoc level, it's going to be interdisciplinary in some way, and there are no age restrictions. However, of course, we're looking at how you've spent your time. So if you're my age, you probably wouldn't want to apply. What's the value? Well, the value is your salary, and the salary, for those of you who have some work experience in Germany, it's based on a table for public employees at a level of TVL 13, we say. That you get plus an expatriate allowance during your time that you're not in Germany, and a travel subsidy. Now, the travel subsidy only pays your travel from Germany to your host country. I'll talk more about the salary in a minute. What are the eligibility requirements? It's an above average scientific record. We do look at your PhD results, and we do not accept anyone who does not have a summa or magna cum laude PhD thesis or completion. So there are some mobility rules for people who are not EU applicants, and we actually have some links for you on that Julia can post on the side here as well. And again, she's already posted the links to our website. You really find a lot of stuff to read. So those of you who are from outside of the EU, make sure you really closely read what we post there. For example, if you're applying from Cameroon, and you have been living in Cameroon the last few years, you can apply, but you must spend your time in the European Union. You cannot, for example, spend your time outside of Germany in the United States. Again, read the links. You see our approximate dates for the next call. I say approximate, we always shoot for May 1st. It may be a few days later, depending on how busy we are, but keep checking, and you will see the call for applications on the website. And in order to apply, look at the call itself and make sure you're abiding by everything that the call asks for. The deadline to hand everything in is August 31st. And again, don't start 2 days beforehand. Be prepared, start uploading your application documents much earlier. When will you have the selection results? It's taking a while. It's simply because we have a long drawn out selection process. We first check if you're eligible, if you've handed in everything. Then we send the applications to specific reviewers in your particular field, and not just one. We try to get several reviewers, and those reviews go to our selection committee. So that takes time. By March 2023, you will get the results. And right away after that, you'll have an orientation session that tells you how Prime actually works. And then you'll be able to start in June. I would actually say June is pretty optimistic. July is probably a better anticipated starting date. So here you actually see what's happening. We are just one part of the whole process. Your final employer is going to be the university. So once you've been selected by us, you should deal with the university, not as much with us anymore. But still, we're doing something, not just the selection process. We also offer in the beginning support with contacting the German university. We try to help you reach the correct people at the university. We answer your questions on contracts, and we always have people who go on parental leave. We tend to have people in the program who go on part-time employment, maybe due to family obligations or for other reasons. Sometimes there are interruptions, and of course during the COVID crisis, we have quite a few changes here. We also, of course, write a letter stating what the Prime program is, so you'll be able to obtain a visa to Germany and to the particular country that you're spending your time in, the 12 months outside of Germany. We also pay, as I mentioned, a small travel subsidy. What does the host university do then? They are in charge of your salary. Your salary depends on the experience you have, on the time you've worked at a university already. And then the university has to submit another application with us, with my colleague who is in project funding. So this is a time-consuming administrative process, and sometimes it's a bit cumbersome. You should be prepared for that. So then you have your work contract, as I mentioned, depends on your experience, and you may look at a net amount of between 2,500 euros to about 3,150 euros a month. And then the expatriate allowance is usually starting at 1,400 euros a month, let's say for the Netherlands or Denmark. In the United States, it depends on where you go. It can go up to about 2,000 euros a month. The expatriate allowance is actually based on your salary, and it is based on a particular piece of paper that will give you a copy for, and it's set by the German Federal Foreign Office and particular German laws. And depending on your place of research, you're going to be in a particular zone. Princeton, as you see here, is zone 6. So this particular person is going to receive also over 2,000 euros per month expatriate allowance. Now, expatriate allowance means this is all you get, basically. For those of you who are familiar with DAAD scholarships, you can apply for family subsidies, for children's subsidies, and so on, for rental subsidies. In Prime, you will not get those. All you get is your salary plus the expatriate allowance. How do you apply? How do you actually find where to apply? You should go to the DAAD website, and you should look in the German version of our database, which is here. And then you can enter Prime at the very top of those fields you can fill in. And once you've found Prime, you will actually be directed to some other pages, and it should be self-explanatory, but we have some people in the DAAD portal who can help you if you encounter difficulties. You also must register with the DAAD. You need to get to those pages that you see here on the screen. And for those of you who have previously applied for a day scholarship, you can use your same login, your same number. You're going to be one number during your whole DAAD career. And it's very helpful for us if you try not to start a new application here. So that said, I'm actually trying to finish the presentation here, so you can ask your questions, but I can't advance the presentation anymore, so Anna needs to take over.
Okay, thanks. I think this was the last slide of the presentation, so
Okay.
Everything's fine. So thanks, Britt, for your presentation. I think that was really helpful, very clear, and gave already many important insights for everybody who is interested in the scholarship program. But we also had some questions already in the chat, and everybody of the participants of you is of course welcome to ask more questions. We are really happy to answer them. So I will just start with the first question, and it is: I did my PhD at the RWTH Aachen 2018 in mechanical engineering, and now this person is working in Pakistan, and he asked if he can apply for Germany also from Pakistan. So.
Yes, you can apply, and of course you will have not just a German destination, but you're going to have another outside of Germany, outside of Pakistan destination. So you will have to pick another destination. And in your case, if you're living in Pakistan now, it must be in Europe.
Okay, thank you. And then there is a question by somebody who already knows the call from last year, because he asked, will the new call differ from the call 2122? And if so, how will it differ? If you can already answer this question now, if that's possible.
Yes, actually, the calls stay pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Can you still hear me? Because I get messages I'm unplugged.
Oh, I think there is some technical problem. Perhaps you can
Can you hear me?
turn off your. I cannot really hear you. Your picture is frozen. Perhaps you could just turn off the camera shortly and then turn it on again. And I think I will switch to this slide because perhaps then it's easier to transmit the camera picture. I don't know if it makes a difference, but because it's a little bit smaller, perhaps then
Can you hear me now?
it doesn't. We can hear you better now. So if it helps, of course, you can also turn your camera or leave your camera turned off.
Okay, I leave the camera turned off for now. And of course, I'd like to stress, if anyone has questions, you can always reach us at prime@daad.de. Currently, we're really super busy with the new applications, but be patient and we will answer you. So the new call is not going to differ much. For those of you who followed developments regarding Horizon 2020 and who is participating, Switzerland is not it's not part of the EU and has left Horizon 2020, but we still want to make it possible for those of you who apply to keep going to Switzerland for your foreign destination. So we would state that, but it's not official yet. So again, if you are interested in spending time in Switzerland, maybe have another place in mind just in case we have problems with getting Switzerland approved.
Okay, thank you. That is good to know. But apart from that, there are no major changes, right?
No.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. So I'm switching to the next question, which is, does Prime require that PhD holders or those in their final year move back to their home country to spend at least 1 year there before applying?
No. If somebody is already in Germany or in Europe from a third country, you can apply. And for those of you who have been in the EU for 5 years, you will also be able to go to a third country, let's say the United States or Canada. We are trying to change that restriction, but it hasn't been changed yet. So if we're hoping to change that restriction down to 3 years in Germany or in Europe. So those of you who have gotten your PhDs here have an advantage. And of course, we hope that you come back here to continue your career here.
Okay, thank you. I think there's a question that's related to that. Because it's also again about the countries. So can I spend the first 12 months in my home country, or do I have to choose another EU country? Perhaps it's a similar question.
Yeah, if you're coming, let's say from India, you cannot go to India unless you have been living in Europe for more than 5 years. So if you've lived in Europe, you have not been back for a prolonged period of time. And also look at the website. Maybe it's 3 years and no more than 12 months in the last 3 years. You cannot have been in that particular country that you're going to. And again, if it's your home country that you want to go back to, check the website very carefully. Maybe send me your CV so I can have a look at it.
Okay, thank you. I think this already answered also the question. I am an Indian national who works as a postdoc in Denmark. Can I apply from Denmark? So
Yes.
he could apply there if he lives there for a period of 5 years. Am I correct?
Well,
Or if not, please.
anybody who's from who is in Denmark can apply, and of course the destination, the foreign destination you want to go to depend.
Ah,
So if you want to stay in Denmark for another 12 months, you cannot have been there for more than
okay.
12 months.
Okay, that seems logical because it's important. The movement is also important in this scholarship. Okay, so let's have a look again at the questions. So perhaps I don't know if this is something you can answer. The question is about approximately how many scholarships are awarded per year.
Well, we aim at awarding 25, but we get over 200 applications each time. So our success rate is at about 12%. So that's why you must be highly qualified in order to participate. And I can tell you our selection committee does look at your project proposal, whether it's current, it offers something new. They also look at your CV. They look at whether you've been mobile before, what the work was you've done beforehand, and of course you should get excellent invitations. You must find your own hosts. We do not help you find a host. So for those of you who are here in Germany already, you may have your scientific network. It may be easy for you even if you're within Europe. If you're coming from outside, it may be a bit more difficult. And of course, the more enthusiastic the invitation is, the more you've spoken to your prospective host, I think the better it is. So again, it's highly selective. We recommend that you have a plan B. Definitely don't just apply for Prime. And our committee also prefers people who have been postdocs for a while, not for a long time, but maybe for people who have definitely finished their PhD at the time of application already, and who have published a little bit in certain fields. You don't publish as much. For example, in philosophy, I think there are not as many publications. So it's good if there's some time and you have some applications. In the natural sciences, you publish more, so maybe you apply earlier. But again, you must offer something to us. Don't just, otherwise you should apply for a regular scholarship, a short postdoc program. We offer those as well. Sort of our starting grant. So you may want to look at our scholarship database and check what else is offered.
Okay, thank you, Britt, for the answer. I think this is also helpful. You also already gave some tips for the application, and of course, it's a competitive program. I think that's important to keep in mind. There are so many questions, and now it's already 2:30, but I think we can still answer some more of them for the next 10 minutes. One question, as you said, you also need an excellent host, a very good host institution. And one question was about finding a host, if we can give recommendations for finding a host. For this, we have another webinar that will be useful, and we answer these questions more or less in 1 hour because it's the webinar called Ask a Professor, and there are several professors that answer from their point of view how they would like to be approached and what they look at when somebody asks them to host them, to be their host professor. So I recommend to have a look at this webinar, and my colleague Julia, who was already very helpful, by the way, thanks to Julia for helping us in the chat. She will post the link to this webinar in a few seconds. Thank you very much. So having a look at the questions again. Okay, I'm just reading. So success rate has already been answered. So there are many questions about the countries and where somebody is living, but I think those already have been answered as well. If not, if you still have questions about home countries that hasn't been answered yet, it would be kind if you post it in the chat again. There's more technical questions. Are there any restrictions on eligibility based on how long ago the PhD degree was awarded?
No.
Okay.
Of course, we will look at every application, and if you are an applicant who has maybe changed careers or done something else in between or whatnot, you should of course explain. This last year we received a CV with a gap in it, and we're going to reject the applicant. And he then explained, well, I was working outside of academia. He had a startup and a family company and whatnot. And I told him, you must explain. And of course, our committee is actually quite sympathetic if you have some actual work experience and have not just been in academia.
Okay, thank you. There is also another interesting questions. So I think you answered it already, but as it's such an important aspect, I'm still reading it. So from your experience, does the majority of the international applicants already have experienced the German academic landscape before applying for DAAD Prime? For example, gained the master PhD in Germany or have been involved in respective corporations. So in short, does the majority of the applicants have connections to Germany already, especially the successful
yes.
applicants?
The successful applicants have. They may have gotten their masters here. They may have come here for a short postdoc research visit, or they may have gotten their PhD here. Those are usually the successful candidates. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then having a look at the questions again. There is somebody asking if I'm an asylum seeker holding a refugee card status, am I able to apply for a scholarship with a traveling document? And yeah, where can I get it? I mean, this is something where to get this document is something perhaps we cannot answer here. But theoretically, would that be possible to apply? If the other criteria, of course, you still need to find a host institution, but
Exactly. You
possible
need to
that they
find
are.
out with the host institution if they are allowed to hire you. So we go by the German laws, so you have to be able to be hired. And of course, there are specific provisions for people. So if you are a refugee, you're here legally, yeah, definitely there are ways to keep your education going. So if in doubt, contact us, but we're not the experts on that. So I would always check with your host institution.
Okay, so the criteria are the same, but as you said, if it's possible to be employed, um, that's the most important criteria. Um, so there are some short questions coming in now. So what about language? If somebody's only or doesn't speak German but English, is that a problem? So
No, it's not a problem. If your project is done completely in English, if we conduct our program pretty much in English, so if your project is in English, if you need another language for your project, of course, you need to be knowledgeable in that language. However, it always helps if you show that you have a desire to learn some German while here. That's a positive sign. But again, lots of research here is done in English anyways, especially in the natural sciences.
that's true. I can confirm that. So there are many programs that are conducted in English. Yeah. um, there's somebody, if Alexander from Humboldt Fellows can apply for Prime, and also people that have a Marie Curie scholarship. I
Um,
think
Yes, of course.
if they
If you
had.
already have if you already have received those grants, I would say it's a plus on your CV, and you're standing a good chance. Maybe the probability for you is going up.
And I'm just asking this question because it comes to my mind. What happens if I was a DAAD scholarship holder? Is this a problem because Prime is also a DAAD scholarship?
No, we have people who've gotten the short postdoctoral fellowships and then afterwards go on a prime fellowship. Of course, you can't apply for prime twice, but if you apply for different funding opportunities, yes, you cannot hold them at the same time. We always have people who actually drop out in the process because they may have received an Alexander von Humboldt fellowship or something else, and at the same time, we have people who receive a Humboldt fellowship after the prime fellowship. So as long as they're not concurrent, it's fine. They can come one after the other.
Okay, thank you. Um, and perhaps one more question, and I think this will be the last question then, if nothing very urgent will be posted in the next minute. And the question is, thank you very much for your introduction. In Italy, we do not have always summa or summa cum laude for the PhD, but a written judgment of the commission. Is this also okay for an application for Prime?
Yes,
So,
we know if you have received your PhD in another country, actually going to be a bit more lenient. And we're going to look closely, and if make sure you explain your degree from Italy, and then you should be
okay.
fine.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. And there was one more question posted in the chat, and I think that one hasn't been answered yet. So if your application was rejected, are you eligible to apply again in the next year?
Yes, we tend to have people who apply again. We always have a reserve list because a couple of people drop out, And if you're notified that you are on the reserve list, I would say you have a good chance. We always have some very, very good applicants that just don't get in because our funding is limited. But some people reapply several times, and I could tell them right away that they don't really have much of a chance. So get advice from your academic supervisors, and yeah, see if they recommend that you apply for Prime.
Okay.
And if you're in doubt, call me for an honest opinion. But of course, it's just my personal opinion. The people who do select you are our reviewers and our selection committee.
That's true, but I think it's also important to point out, just as you did, there are usually only 25 positions. Of course, it is just very competitive, and it's important to know this in order to prepare a very good application, but also yeah, to know what to expect and to have a plan B, as you pointed out already before. Um, so thank you to everybody, to the participants, of course, for your interests and the questions. And it would be great if you could stay a few more minutes. I would like to also thank to Britt. And before I lead to our little questionnaire, I would like to ask all participants in the end, Britt, do you have something like a take-home message for the participants? Also, perhaps if you are something you already mentioned, if you have a take-home message for the participants, yeah, just go ahead.
Well, our take-home message is that for me personally, we love to support you. We have great respect for all the work that you put in as academics, and you're the ones who are hopefully going to, save us from too many climate problems, from too many more pandemics. So we love serving you. So yeah, keep going, work hard, and maybe we will fund you. Don't
That
give
were
up.
wonderful last words, and I can also say that I absolutely feel the same. So, yeah, we can only we have much respect for your work and the effort you put in it. And perhaps one last word from my side. We also have, apart from this webinar today, much more information for international scientists online. Julia posted some of the important links, and if you just give the Research in Germany website a look, you will definitely find it online. If you Google it, you will find much more information there. So thanks to all of you again, and a big thank you also to Britt for this very good presentation. That was very interesting. And also to Julia for helping us today. And now I'm switching to a little questionnaire, and it would be great if you could answer it just to give us a further feedback about the session. But I'm already reading your very nice feedback in the chat. So thanks to all of you, and have a great afternoon. Bye.